Alexandra Quinn from DreamWarriors Coaching. I'm a business and leadership coach for small business owners, especially in the accounting and finance industry. I'm about to hop on this online prosperity show. In this episode, I'm going to show how I transformed from a girl grew up from poverty in China to now become an international best-selling author, speaker, and had the opportunity to co-author a book with Brian Tracy on cracking the business mastery code. Transformation is real and it's possible for you too.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. And this is your go-to show for anyone that's wrestling with business plateaus or reframing limiting beliefs, or maybe you're craving breakthrough strategies to create freedom and abundance. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we're going to be bringing you an exclusive. And I think this is method-driven content that's just going to drill right into the pain and delivers the solution that you're craving for. And today, our guest is none other than Alexandra Quinn. Alexandra, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Prosper. I'm so honored to be here.
Absolutely. Well, the pleasure is all mine. I'm literally shaking in my boots right now, knowing the types of people you've dealt with, the person you've become, and the kind of celebrity you are in your own circle. So excuse me if I fumble my words or mince my speech, because I'm a little bit starstruck right now.
You are so humble, Prosper. It's absolutely my honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast show.
Absolutely. And for those that are meeting Alexandra for the very first time, let me just take you from under that digital rock you've been hiding under. Now, Alexandra Quinn is the founder and CEO of DreamWarriors Coaching. Now, she's a CPA that has now turned into a mindset master who helps financial service business owners smash through growth ceilings using Proctor Gallagher methods. And we're going to be jumping into what that entails and why that is very important for you to know, and especially if you're a financial services business. So I'll encourage you to grab your favorite beverage. It could be a kombucha, or depending on the time, a whiskey, because I want you to know that in this video, we're going to be going wide and we're going to be going raw and sharing all those relatable moments, and especially the fears that most people face and that hold them back. And obviously there's a few laughs that are coming along, because at some point Alexandra was actually blocked online by her neighbors after she actually shared empowering content. So I'm hoping after this video her current neighbors are not gonna block her or even put barricades on her nature strip, just so that they don't, get to experience the greatness that Alexandra has become. And we're also going to be sharing the triumph of when her first client actually multiplied their income fourfold in months that they started working together. So as you can see, this is going to be real, this is going to be raw, and it's going to be amazing. And this episode really promises transformation, empathy, and actionable insights. I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing with this information here. Now, Alexandra, I could go on and talk about things that, I'm not even qualified to talk about. Take us, back to the time, where you were at PwC and you started thinking maybe there could be more than what I was doing at that particular time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're so right. As a CPA, as an accountant, this is never my dream. And I've been spending years doing what others expected of me. So maybe I'll take you a little bit further back into my childhood. I was born and raised in China, in a very small village. And I was taken away from my parents when I was 2 years old, because we were so poor that they couldn't afford living with me. And they have to go to the far distant cities to earn money and send it back so my grandparents can raise me. So grew up in poverty, and finance has always been a struggle. But not only that, but deep down, I felt I was not good enough. I was not even good enough to live with my parents. And so that developed later on. I figured out that was called codependence. I was doing everything I could to seek for acceptance from my parents, to seek for, approvals from my parents. I don't know if you can resonate with that you are just, as a little child, you're just trying to survive and trying to do everything to please everybody else so that you can survive. And especially I was born and raised in the era of one-child policy. So that means that born as a girl was a remark of shame, because all my parents, they want to have is a boy so that he can carry forward the family legacy. Yet, as a girl, I was not able to do that. And so, but they can't have another child. So they stuck with me. And honestly, I saw the girls of my age being abandoned on street and never seen their parents again. So my entire life was living in the fear of abandonment. And that was real, but I didn't have the language to articulate that. So when my parents want me to become an accountant and work for the bank, I did exactly what they want me to do. So that wasn't my passion, but it was a survival mechanisms to please my parents so that I can survive in those harsh realities. They want me to study hard, and I really study hard. And they want me to get to university. They want me to study accountant. They want me to work for the bank, and they want me to get married. They want me to have kids, and then you can see the end of your life. So that's exactly what mapped out for me, and I did exactly what they want me to do. I studied CPA, and then I got qualified, and I worked for PwC. I worked for big banks in Australia, ANZ, Westpac, BT Financial Groups, all the big Fortune 500s and the big banks. So I thought I could make them proud until one day. It was during COVID, and I was playing this game with my daughter. It's called Tell the Truth. Have you ever played this game, Tell the Truth? We actually make up this game. Oh, where's my mask? Actually, we put on our mask. So when we put on our mask, we can ask any question that you could ever ask, even those ones that you dare not to ask normally. And when you take off the mask, you must tell the truth. So we were playing this game, we're putting on our mask, and after a few questions and answers, my daughter all of a sudden asked me, "Mommy, you always ask us to dream big and achieve high. So what is your dream?" She was 9.5 years old at the time, and that question caught me off guard. I didn't know what was my dream because I spent my entire life doing what others expected of me. And that question caught me back into probably 25 years ago. And I just finished a scholarship program from one of the top prestigious university in Vienna, Austria, and in Europe. And I was full of hope and dreams. At the time, I recall I was just come out of the airport, from the Hong Kong airport, and driving to my city. And it was a very long drive. And I just come out of the airport and I had full of passion. I was telling about my experience in Europe to my dad and my dreams of being this amazing business owner, being the bridge between the East and the West, and, utilizing my language skills and culture awareness and all the business knowledge I just earned. I could conquer the whole world. I don't know whether you can resonate with that.
I can feel the energy.
Yes, you can conquer the whole world. You just have so much passion when you just come out and you truly believed in what you can do. And I was telling him about this dream. I wanted to be in my business, have my own business. And then I turn around and look at my dad. All I saw was disappointment. And after a long pause, and he finally said to me in a very deep and concerning voice, and he said, you just come back from your overseas study, you're full of passion and dreams, but it's not the right time. Having your own business is not as easy as you think. Why don't you just go and find an accounting job, and you can learn how to do business while you're working in this accounting job? I don't know how you feel. I feel like, right, okay, fine. I'll make my dad proud and I will find an accounting job. So that was the only moment I can remember ever have this feeling of having a dream. But I allowed others to talk me out of it. So I didn't have an answer for my daughter, and I felt like a failure because as an accountant, as an auditor, integrity has been the highest value of mine. And yet I'm here telling my daughter to do what I wasn't doing. I was thinking like, wow, what kind of message am I leaving behind for my daughter? Will she turn around and tell me that I am a liar? I was telling her to do something that I wasn't doing. I don't know how you feel. I don't know how many mothers out there can resonate with this, or parents out there can resonate with this. So then I took off my mask. I must tell the truth. I have to tell the truth, and I feel so embarrassed. And I said, I actually don't have a dream. I'm sorry. And from that moment, I realized that if I want my next generation to follow their dreams and live a life that they love, I must set an example for them. So I make up my mind that I'm going to find my own dreams and I'm going to make it a reality. And that's when I decided to start my own business called DreamWarriors Coaching. Because in this journey of making your dreams into reality, you must be a warrior. There will be obstacles, there will be challenges in the way, and you need to stand up as an warrior. So I was actually driving to have my COVID test. It was a long drive, so I turned on a podcast. And it was just Jay Shetty interviewing Bob Proctor in that episode. And what resonated with me deeply was this sentence that Bob Proctor was saying in that podcast. He said, most people play so safe and they tiptoe through their life and hope they can safely make it to death. In that moment, I realized that, wow, that's an exact perfect description of me. As an accountant, I played so safe. I draw in a color within the lines. Yet at the end of the day, we all die one day. It's not perhaps. It's not maybe. right? It is definitely. And I was like, why am I playing so safe and hope it safely to make it to death? And I just wanted to, like, maybe listeners, if you are listening to this episode, reflect onto yourself. Are you playing too safe? Are you wearing this mask of being a people pleaser, doing what others expected of you? I know accounting professionals, they are very much think inside the box and being a people pleaser, because there's some regulatory reportings and there are some, clients' expectations, there are deadlines that we must meet, and all that kind of things make us a great rule keeper. But that's the exact problem. We are a great rule keeper for others, and that's what makes us an expertise to serve others. But that's the exact problem, that you can't use the same thinking to grow your own business. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you got to think outside of the box to grow your own business. So as an accounting and finance professional, you need to know when to switch your thinking. Because your thinking, yes, you're doing a great job serving your clients. Fantastic. With this rule-keeping mentality, your clients love you and you're serving your clients. When you're serving your client, you do need to bring that thinking into your business. But when you are actually working on your business, you need to switch the thinking from inside the box thinking to outside of the box thinking so that you can grow your own business. You need to go the unconventional way of reaching out to people, adding more value to people's business so that you can grow your own business. So at that point in time, when I heard that I have all this, urgency of, wow, my life is running out. Especially during COVID, I attended 3 funerals during COVID. And I realized that we actually don't run out of time, but we run out of life to do what we really want to do. As an accountant, I always think, oh my gosh, I run out of time to do my to-do list. My to-do list is so long that I run out of time. But in reality is, you don't run out of time. Tomorrow is going to come. Next year is going to come. The next 10 years is going to come regardless. But your life is running out to do what you love, to create what you love. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I spent 20 years in accounting just to please my father, to please others, to do what others expected of me. What do I really want? I never thought about it up until that point. Never thought about it. So that I make up my mind. I said, I wanted to do what Bob Proctor was doing. He changed people's life. He created these quantum leaps in those people's life and condensed the time and energy so that they can live a life they truly want. I wanted to learn what he has to offer. How do you tap into the 95% of the potential that have never been touched? Most people take those potential into grave. How do you do that? And so I make up my mind that I wanted to do what Bob Proctor was doing. So I became personally coached by him and mentored by him, learned everything he has to offer, and I become certified by him to become a Proctor Gallagher consultant to deliver and facilitate his coaching program and to learn how he transformed people's life. And then little did I know that I just make it through the door, because 6 months after, he passed away.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, have a little bit urgency in your life. Because if I miss that cutoff, I may not ever have the opportunity to learn from the master of human potential. And I'm just so grateful that I made that decision and just take on that opportunity and challenge to learn from him, because I remember it wasn't easy. I'm in Australia, he's in the Eastern time zone, US Eastern time zone, and I have to wake up 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning in order to be on the call with him and to learn from him and to be coached by him and learn how to help people tap into the unused potential. And so because he has been working with people and trying out this, he spent 60 years to perfect this system. And when I start to apply this system, just follow the step by step and work with the clients, my very first client, he 4 times his income in 5 months, just like that. And his was my very first client. And after that, I have many clients turn their annual income into monthly income. And I have clients turn their monthly income into weekly income. Even I share my client's story, Rose Jasper, her story in my co-authoring book with Brian Tracy, how she turned her monthly income into weekly income in just 2 months and working only 4 hours a day. I want you to see the possibilities. I like to share Jasper's story is not because she has the most impressive results, but I just found her stories really inspiring, because when she came to me, she was already 69 years young, right? How many people are you thinking, oh my God, I career change, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm whatever the excuse is saying to yourself to make those changes. But when she came to me, she's already 69 years young. And she said to me, she said, Alex, I really want some changes in my life. I had 2 failed business before, and then I have to get back to a toxic work environment and now I'm stuck there for over 10 years. It's draining my energy. I know I must change. I am not getting any younger, but I don't know the what. I don't know the how. I was like, fine, let's work together. Are you ready? Do you really want to change? She said, oh yes, I want to change like 10 years ago. And so we began to work together. Well, there are investment involved. And she was like, I'm in. I am going to do this program as my gift for myself for my 70th birthday. Wow. So inspiring, right? Gifting yourself a gift of growth for your own birthday. What an inspiring story. So within that, then I think within 2 weeks, she quit her job and she set up her own independent business, a risk management consulting business. And then she worked on it. Within 2 months, she turned her monthly income into weekly income and only working 4 hours a day. And with the extra income and time that enable her to achieve 3 of her dreams. Number 1, she's been always wanting to write and publish a book. And that was her childhood dream. Like a childhood dream finally realized when she turned 70th. So she invested a book coach and had the extra time. She was writing on her books and that become a reality. And then she is always wanting to travel across Australia and to experience and see this beautiful country. So what she did, at age of 69 or 70, she overcome all the technology challenges and she converted her entire business online. Imagine that. And on top of that, she converted a mobile home and installed a satellite dish on top of her mobile home, convinced her husband to take a 3 months long service leave, and they both get on this mobile home and travel across Australia without sacrificing her income. And for 3 months, just working only 4 hours a day, getting things moving along and experience this beautiful country. And that was one of a long-term dream as well. And the third dream was that because what she's doing inspire her son wanting to start his own business, an e-commerce business. and having her son to ask her and say, Mom, you did so well in your business. How about we work together and start this e-commerce business? Can you help me with that? And that will ultimately create a second stream income for you. You know, if you are a mom at age of 70, having your son to ask you and even to have a business together, inspire them, that was a dream as a surprise. She never thought she could, but oh my gosh, so amazing things can happen. Maybe if you are listening, you may be thinking 4 times or 5 times your income is way too big, but I want to inspire you. Majority of my clients, on average, they double the income or revenue in a 6 to 12 months period. Just because you open up your mind for possibility. And always remember this, you can only conceive what you believed. If you don't believe it, you can't even conceive it. So it's really believing in the impossible so you can make the impossible become a possibility for you. And so I know a lot of the accounting and finance professionals, they are kind of really looking at the strategies and to grow their business. You know, they was like, I have a pretty good mindset and I don't need to work on my mindset. I just need strategy. Tell me how to build a brand. Tell me how to do the digital marketings and all that kind of things. But, you know, majority of the, Tony Robbins or my mentor, Bob Proctor, all the amazing, extraordinary, successful people, and even Brian Tracy even say this, like, you know, business is a spiritual game. And only 5 to 10% are the strategies, and 90%, 95% are the mindset. It's a mental game to work with so that it take mental strength. If you are stressed, if you are like overwhelmed, you can't really work on your business effectively. You can't really communicate. People can sense your stress. If you're angry, if you are frustrated, if you are overwhelmed, you go and hide away and you pass on this, you know, angry and low vibration or like negative energies to others. People can pick up from that. But it's always working on your mind. And your mind is a powerful mind. And how do you tap into more of the power of your mind? Because we don't learn this in our business school, right? We don't learn about this. We learn about how to grow business, how to do debit and credits. We learn how to, do the accounting. Right, yeah. Play with the Excel spreadsheet, play with your calculator, and do the, good, better, best, everything you analyze and based on historical data. That's exact problems, you know. We've been trained so well to look at the problems. Our mind get consumed by the problems, right? Our focus is on the problems. And we are being hardwired to think logically. 5 to 10% increases are reasonable. What is reasonable, right? When you're thinking about 5 to 10% increases, that you produce 5 to 10% increases and you satisfy and you tolerate that. But what if you can have 200% increases, even 500% increases, 120% increases? Is that a possibility? And when you limit yourself, you're also limiting your client's growth. And clients come to you, they say, I want to double my revenue in this month. And yes, an accountant as a finance professional say, no, that's not possible. Then you not only limit yourself, you're limiting your client's growth. And I want you to know that.
Yeah.
On the mindset, right? It's on the mindset. What you see the possibility. So now I'm actually getting this message across to these accounting and finance professionals. When we are doing this, we need to come from a vision. What do you really want? And then you focus, instead of the problem, you focus on the opportunity, the possibilities. Is that possible? If it is possible for others, it is possible for you too. Why don't you aim higher? Why don't you aim high? Why you have to limit yourself and be satisfied with 5 to 10% increases? Why can't you, if you can, why don't you aim for double your revenue? And I was working with one of my clients who is in accounting, having an accounting practice in Melbourne. And he's probably about 300K of revenue, 2 or 3 years into his accounting practice. And he started to hit a plateau because it's an accounting practice. And when you hit $250,000, that's where when you max out your hours in your day. And you can only have that many things in your day, the client services and all that kind of thing. So then they start to hit the plateau. They can't work any harder. They need to focus on the client delivery, and they don't have the time to bring in new clients. And that's when they start to plateau with the same client base and spinning around. And they get stressed, and they get all the anxieties and all the overwhelm, and that's where they hit plateau. And so these clients came to me, and then he said, I really see the possibility of doubling my revenue. And so we began to work together, and 5 months into it, he's on track of hitting his revenue target goal of 600K, and he wanted to stretch himself to make it to $1 million this year. So that is a possibility. So he's now at a stage where he take on a commercial property so that he have a proper office, and also have the courage to take on extra team members. He's onboarding 2 more members, and he's now working on his systems, a back-end system to be able to handle and delegate this work. And so he can work on the high-value clients, and the lower-value clients, they delegate to his team. So it's really about setting up the systems behind behind the doors, and so that behind the scenes, so that you can, as a business owner, you need to focus on the bringing in the client, not so much on the delivering, but you need to be comfortable enough to delegate the work to your team member and have a training system in place to be able to train your accountants, senior accountants, or the managers to be able to review the work, self-review the work, and then you just do the final review and sign off. And then you need to shift from an accountant of delivering the services to now focusing on bringing the business. You become a business developer rather than a service provider. So that is one of the things that I'm seeing very challenging in this service-based industry. They're so good at delivering the services, and they don't think their focus or their strength is at bringing in the business. And this is what I found, Prosper, what's holding you back? It's not who you think you are, but who you think you are not.
Right.
For example, you think I'm not a digital marketer, then that's exactly things that holding you back. I am not a content creator. I am not that extrovert that I go out and network with people. I am not that person, know everybody in the room. I'm not that person to get my business out there. I'm not. And that's exactly what's holding you back, because you can be who you want to be. You truly can. It just, those people, like when I started my business, I was an accountant, and I have to learn how to market my own business. And I have to learn to create content. I have to learn how to do this market research. I need to learn my target audiences. What are their pain points? And how can I speak to them so they can resonate? How can I tell my story in a more effective ways that connect with my audiences? All those are learnable skills. You can learn it and you can become it. And then if you are saying, I'm not, then you're not even putting the energy and putting the thoughts to learn it. That's exactly what holds you back. Especially these business owners I work with, they are in the trust-based industry. They are in the trust-based people, you're not going to respond to an ad to find your accountants and give their bank account details to someone you never met. You just click an ad on the internet and you give your bank account detail, right? You're not going to do that. They are trust-based industry. So my view is for those business owners in the trust-based industry, for example, finance, accountants, and lawyers, and those are the trust-based industry, people need to connect with you. Your story matters. Who you are matters. And that's how you build trust, by sharing your authentic self, your values, your visions, your family backgrounds, and your stories, and how you get to where you are. You need to share these stories and be courageous enough to put yourself out there and to connect with those audiences that connect with you. But that's the problem with this industry. A lot of them, we've been trained so well to put on a mask in a professional settings, right? You need to look in a certain way. Everybody dress the same color, black, and white, black and white, and they all look the same with that, just a fake face. A mask on their face, right? Just to look professional. But you gotta have a little bit personality when you are, getting your business out there. What distinguishes you from the other accountants? What distinguishes you from the other mortgage brokers? What distinguishes you from the other finance planners, advisors, bookkeepers? All that kind of things. How do you distinguish yourself if you are providing the same services? It's you. You are uniquely you, right? You have your stories. You have your own upbringings. You have your own values. And you got to be vulnerable enough and to share, and courageous enough to share that. And when you are sharing your stories, you will attract those ones who resonate with your story. And also say no to the one that don't resonate with you. Because you are Prosper, you are digital marketing agencies, you experts, in any marketing message, if you don't propel when in your marketing message, you need to speak to a certain group of people, and you also need to propel some of the customers that does not resonate with your message. If your marketing message does not propel others and speak to the one that you want, that is not an effective marketing message.
Absolutely. Even people have different flavors of pizza, and people love pizza and people love ice cream, and there's so many different flavors. Now, thank you so much, Alexandra, for all of that. My question now is, obviously, the people that you work with are people that, like you said, they're very technical in the way that they produce the results. They're very strict because they have to follow a certain amount of rules in order for them to get that sort of outcome. And don't you think people would think that mixing spirituality and numbers is somehow woo-woo or just fluff? How would you debunk that? Because as somebody who might be an accountant, they would just say, you know what, numbers tell the story. Why do I need to show up and tell my story?
Yeah. So, people's buying decision is always an emotional decision. And when you are sharing your stories, you are actually speaking to the emotional mind, the subconscious mind. Because that is how people resonate and remember. And always remember, people don't remember what you say, but people remember how you make them feel. As an accountant, we are not good at telling stories. We are good at telling numbers. But when you wanted to connect with your audiences, connect with your prospects, you need to share that you are human. You need to connect to their subconscious mind, their emotional mind, and that's where they make the buying decisions. And then people will justify by logic. And so when you speak to their subconscious mind, you tell your story, you can make them feel they heard, they are respected, they're understood. And that's where you build trust. When you have that trust, people do business with you.
I like that, because people do business with those they know, like, and trust. Now, I just wanted to maybe touch up on a few things that you obviously have shared with us, because your journey, like you say, you need to be telling your story and things of that nature, right? You're obviously coming from that child who was afraid of abandonment in rural China and things of that nature. Then you did mention a time when you went to Europe and obviously did a bit of a stint over there, and you were talking about your Bob Proctor that you were working with, who is in another continent, and now you're living in Australia and things of that nature. Now you've had a nice cross section of the world and sort of had one-to-one with most of the people that can represent a few specimens of this. Is this sort of education or mindset available to everyone in the world, or is it just for a certain select that can find it and obviously then work with it? Because I viscerally believe if people had this mindset, the world would be a totally different and a better place.
Yeah, so definitely you're right that I came from international background and travel around the world and work in different places. I actually worked in Dubai for a year as well. And so I love this diversity and these culture differences, and because that helped me to see people from different perspectives and different cultural backgrounds and different perspective. You're right. So all this information is actually work for any human beings. As long as you have a mind, and our mind actually pretty much works similar. And we all one species, right, is human beings, and we pretty much work similar in that perspective. And this is, human, it's, this wisdoms and this mindset has been around for a long time. Even when you look at Bob Proctor's philosophy, his mentor is actually Earl Nightingale. And Earl Nightingale was mentored by Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill, and he was like, he interviewed all these amazing, 150 amazing, very successful people at the time. And that is like really condense all the human wisdoms into, and then get passed on and passed on and passed on. What we need to do now is not about getting more knowledge. It's really about how do you apply it. So I always love this quote from Napoleon Hill. He said, knowledge is not power, but applied knowledge is power. So how do you apply this knowledge into your specific business, in your specific industry? And that is where the power lies. And so that's why I can help anybody who has a mind, but I choose to come back to this industry. I want to give back to my industry in the accounting and finance industry because, number one, I started my career here, and I it's always have a place in my heart that this industry gave me an opportunity to thrive. And so I wanted to give back to this industry. And I know these accounting and finance professionals, they're very intelligent. Like for them to get their certifications and qualifications, there are many hours of sacrifice to put into the effort of getting those recognition and certifications, and it's just not another digit after your name, but it is recognizing the effort they put in. They're very hardworking as well. They do a lot more for others than they do for themselves, and so they have a very great work ethic, and they just really do a lot for others, but then they don't do much for themselves. So I want to be that person to help them to grow their own business so that they can serve more people. You don't want to leave yourself behind. So I want these amazing business owners to thrive as well.
Absolutely. And it is remarkable gesture for you to literally say, I'm here because of this industry, and this is my way of giving back. So in terms of giving back, I've noticed you have blended, obviously, finance, NLP, mindset, and obviously the tools that you've learned from the greats and the greats. If somebody comes through to you today, they're probably a finance expert or an accountant or somebody in that sort of field. What are they walking away with? What would they say they've achieved after working with you?
Definitely, they know a lot more about how to master their mind and emotions. When they start to be able to master their mind and emotions, they can do anything. They will walk away with a proven system, how to set a goal and achieve the goal. Doesn't really matter what that goal is. Doesn't really matter whether it's double your revenue or 10 times your revenue, but you will learn a proven system to set a goal, achieve a goal, set a goal, achieve a goal, and you will be able to teach others how to set a goal and achieve a goal with a proven system. So for my clients, they learn a process how to double their revenue in 6 to 12 months. But when they finish, no one can take away this knowledge from them. Then they can continuously double and double and double their revenue. And they will have this proven framework work time and time again. So what would that ROI for you if you can learn a proven system to continuously double and double and double your revenue?
Oh, absolutely. It's exponential, it just keeps giving and giving. Obviously, and where would people go to on the internet to find out more information about how they can maybe get started with your programs or how you actually work with them?
Yeah, so what I work with is normally I start with a 5-day challenge. So it's 5 one-on-one sessions with me for so to work out where you are at and where you want it to be and what are the mental blocks that's stopping you to achieve your goal. So this is a 5-day exclusively working one-on-one with me in the 5-6 sessions, and it's only $500 Australian dollars. And then so if your audiences let me know, reach out to me, and I might be able to give you 50% off discount for your audiences who are listening to your podcast. I always look after those people who, we do work together. So ask me for the 50% discount code if you're listening to this podcast, and it will be a very special deal for your audiences and the people who are listening to this podcast. So no one in my industry actually give one-on-one coaching for this pricing, like $250, like Australian dollars. I'm not talking about US dollars. So grab these opportunities where you can find me. I'm actually wanting to gift my ebook, my co-authoring book with Brian Tracy. It's the Cracking the Business Mastery Code. And you can get a free download from my website. And I'm going to share the link with you. But for reaching out to me, my email address is alex@dreamwarriors.com. DreamWarriorsCoaching.com.au. So that is Alex at DreamWarriorsCoaching.com.au. Send me an email and tell me that you're interested in the 5-day challenge or whatever you want to share with me, and tell me that you're coming from the Prosperous amazing podcast and how much you love Prosperous and how much you enjoy this podcast. Tell me all about it, and then we can connect from there. And I actually host 2 networking events. One is for international business owners. We meet monthly, and we coming to share what our businesses are and expand our network together. And we also have a breakout rooms where you can deepen your conversation with individuals in the networking event. And I also have another in-person networking event, is a Beyond Numbers for accountants, bookkeepers, financial planners, insurance brokers, and finance brokers. And there's a need for these accounting and finance professionals to come together and build a referral network. And so that's why I'm providing a platform for them to have a place they can come in month after month and to build their business relationships and get to know each other and explore potential referral partners. So that is another place, is in Sydney, in the CBD place. If you are not in Sydney, you can't attend this in-person networking event, come to my online business owners networking event, and you can have exposures to business owners, SMEs, and you might be able to connect with some business owners who want your services.
Oh, absolutely. And I really appreciate, opening us up to your world in that sort of stance. And I'll definitely make sure all those links are in the show notes. And I really appreciate the 50% discount that you have offered. So for those that are watching right now, I actually encourage you to maybe type in the comments below, I want that discount or something along those lines. And obviously Alex will maybe pick a couple of you guys and take you under her wing. All right. Now, you mentioned you co-authored a book with Brian Tracy. I have nothing but respect for that gentleman and everything else that he has done, and also Bob Proctor and the people that you've worked with and things of that nature. Now, you've come from a place where everybody around you was doubting and stopping you and sort of really pulling you down, even your dad at some point. But what's the not so obvious connection between writing and actually having to then leave your message, throughout, especially with everything that was happening against you?
Yeah, so it's really, as I share in my message, this journey of pursuing your dream, it's not going to be easy, but it is possible. It's so rewarding. And when I begin to dream, there are plenty of naysayers say you can't. And some of them were my family members. And as in this journey as I begin to dream, there are people leave me behind because I'm now different to them. But also in this journey, as I begin to dream, there are strangers who cheering me on and supporting me. And my very first client, he just bought my coaching program, 5-figure coaching program, from watching a replay of my very first 5-day challenge. So there are people watching you, and your message really matter. And so this journey of achieving your dream, there were obstacles, there are people saying, but it's really what you're focusing on. What are you focusing on? And because I was in this journey and I am leaning on to those people who support me, even they're strangers, a little comments of supporting and say, yes, you're doing, keep going. A little comments like that, I hold on to those little comments. And that's how I get to where I am today, and being able to be mentored by Bob Proctor and have this opportunity be co-authoring a book with Brian Tracy and contribute to an international bestseller book, The Voices of the 21st Century. So those are the little things that I hold on to, and little step by step, I get to where I am today. Well, a lot of people ask me, how did you get this opportunity to co-author a book with Brian Tracy? Because he's like industry guru. He did amazing work in the world. And I had this opportunity to co-author a book and went to San Diego to launch the book with him together and speak on stage together with him. The proximity, its power. That's because I was doing this work with Bob Proctor, and I just put it out there to the universe, and then you just be brave enough to put yourself out there, put your message out there. And then one day I just got these connections, an opportunity, and say someone make introductions. And that was really good timing because Brian Tracy had some health challenges in the last few years. So you can see his work has been stepped back. And finally, I think last year or the year before, his family finally, say you are healthy, give him the permission to come out again. And so he can start to be more active on on this platform. And people at his age, he want to not about all he do is not about money. It's about giving a platform for the emerging leaders, emerging speakers to have an opportunity to help them to have their voice being heard. So I was just caught up in this right time that he giving this opportunity, and I was one of those emerging leaders, emerging speakers, and that resonate with, Bob Proctor and Brian Tracy. They were good friends. They were in this realm of work, of mindset and positive psychologies and all these things. So that's when I had my interview with his team, they resonated with my message, resonated my philosophy because it's coming from Bob Proctor. So I was very blessed to pass all those interviews and all those selective interviews, because Brian Tracy also putting his name out there when he co-authored a book with someone, and he wanted to make sure that his reputation being being protected as well. So that's very, very series of interviews to present your ideas, to present what you want to contribute in the book, and whether it's aligned with his philosophy. So all these little things led up to the opportunities, but only those opportunities become available to you when you say yes.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate that. And obviously there's so much that we can uncover in this, but you did mention, Alexandra, that the very thing that got you started on this journey was a question from your 9-year-old daughter at that time when she asked you, do you have a dream? Now, I want you to respond back to her now, knowing what you know now, what you've become and who you have become. Have you lived your dream? Have you achieved that dream?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My dream is to be this change agent and help more people to discover their dream and make their dream a reality and get there faster and easier. It doesn't have to be burnt out. It doesn't have to take you 10 years. It will take you much faster. And, just work on your belief. Yes. Dream big and achieve high.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really appreciate your time on the call today. I mean, your life story and your experience have so much value for a lot of people. Somebody might be thinking, I was born poor, but hey, your story covers that part. Somebody might say, I don't speak English. Your story covers that part. Somebody might say, my family has always wanted me to do this, but your story also covers those parts. Somebody might say, I was born in a different continent, and you've actually spoken and done all these things with all these different people in different parts of the world. So you literally have taken away any excuse anyone has in doing and having a happier existence. But now that you've brought us into your world and you've taken that away from us, What's next? What are you working on that we can be excited about, that we can jump on board? Because now that you've showed us that excuses only sound best to the person that's saying them.
Yes, I really wanted to make a difference in the accounting and finance world because my heart is with them. We're very hardworking professionals, and they are very intelligent professionals. My next goal is working on my Beyond Numbers movement to bring these accounting and finance professionals together. We wanted to build a very steady referral network, as well as working on our ability to generate our own leads, then grow our own business, to master this emotion and this mindset, your mind, to make a difference in this world and to help more people become financially independent and financially prosper. And that's my next goal. And finance is one of the key elements, to achieve your dreams, to live your dreams, to have the lifestyle that you want. Finance play a big part of it. And together in these accounting and finance professionals, we can do so much more for those people who are struggling with their finances or struggling to live the life of freedom, that freedom of choice. And I wanted to help these people. I wanted to enable these accounting and finance people so that they can help more people. So I'm just really focusing on the ripple effect, one at a time, and together we can be the dream warriors to make our dreams into reality.
Absolutely. Now, Alexandra, I can't thank you enough for the time that we spent on the call today. Now, and for those that are watching right now, what a journey. I mean, Alex's story from the conservative accountant to now becoming a global mindset coach just really shows us how far courage and vision can take you. And I think if today's conversation struck a chord with you, and if it didn't, you need to go check your doctor because you must be dead inside. Be sure to download the free co-authored book, Cracking the Business Mastery Code. I will put all those links in the show notes, and be sure to join her monthly Business Honors online networking event. If she allows me to be on there, I want to come see what she's creating, and I will put all those links in the show notes. And don't forget the 50% discount that has been offered for the 5-day challenge. Just mention that you came by way of the Online Prosperity Show, and you won't miss out on that. And talking about being on the Online Prosperity Show, I urge you to stick around, because I think in the next episode, I've just been told we're going to be talking about how to live a happier life by designing systems for joy, not just for profit. So don't forget to subscribe to this show, because you don't want to miss out on experts like Alexandra. And like she said, proximity is literally, you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around with. And as I started this episode, I did mention I was starstruck, because I was seeing beside her Bob Proctor and Brian Tracy, all people that I revere and really, really respect in this industry. So thank you so much for humbling yourself and sharing your time with us on the show here. And for those that are watching, I just want you to maybe leave a comment below that says I can. And I think Alexandra can, take a look at the people that are coming through. And not only are you going to be communicating to either one of us, but you're just affirming your own potential. So until next time, I can't wait to see what you're going to do with this information. Bye for now.